Hey everybody, this is Debbie from MadameStitch, and I thought I'd pop into the Facebook group a day later than I normally do, but I know you're all busily working on your squares. 1 through 5 have released, and 6 just came out yesterday. So I thought I'd pop in today and just talk a little bit about the square that released yesterday, which is the Melody Blanket Square that's designed by the Loophole Fox. Now, Shannon wasn't able to be with me today, but I wanted to pop in and talk about her square because I think it's worth sharing some things about the Loophole Fox and about the square that you might find interesting. So when I found out that Shannon couldn't be with me to do an interview, I asked her to tell me a few things that you might want to know about her business. So we're going to start with that. I'm just going to read what she has to say because I think she said it better than I can. So Shannon says about the Loophole Fox. The main focus of the Loophole Fox is helping crocheters feel cozy, comfortable, and content. I love that. Whether that's a beanie that keeps them warm in the winter or a basket that organizes their space so they can feel comfortable and content when they're in it, it's important that we all have access to things that make our lives better. Shannon is also the type of person that needs to know how and why things work for them to make sense so she can replicate them. Shannon includes what she's learned about how and why things work in her stitch tutorials and in her PDF patterns. She wants crocheters to know why certain techniques were used, why they work, and how the technique changes the project so they feel empowered with knowledge. I think that's wonderful. So if you happen to be a beginner crocheter, even any skill level, but particularly a beginning crocheter, check out the Loophole Fox because she has lots of resources that will help you get the crochet project done. All right. Now, the reason we're here is to talk about Shannon's beautiful square design. And this is what she had to say about the Melody Blanket Square. I chose the design for my square based off of 2 other patterns I have, which are very popular. My Melody rectangle shawl in particular is very popular, and I see it made all the time, which brings me so much joy. When I signed up for the CAL and knew I'd have to use the granny stitch somewhere, I knew that the Melody stitch pattern would be fantastic as it pretty heavily uses the granny stitch. I've been wanting to use it in a mitered square for a while for an entirely different reason, so the CAL and Melody were a perfect match. For those of you who don't know, and this is me talking, a crochet mitered square is a crochet square worked diagonally from one corner of the square to the other while increasing in the center corner, but without having to decrease like in corner to corner method. Most other C to C methods work in straight rows, and in a mitered square like in this one, you work from one corner to the other, and there's a corner in the middle of the row. The biggest detail to share about the making of this square is that it will have a sort of warped diamond shape before blocking. So we've talked a little bit over time about blocking these squares, mainly because we want all of them to be the same size when we put our stitch sampler blanket together. But we also want the stitch definition to be prominent. We want to even out those beautiful stitches. Blocking solves a whole lot of problems in your square, but in this particular design, a mitered square has the tendency to pull in on itself as you work toward that center square corner. So you want to make sure that you block your square, use your favorite method. I use light steam blocking, which seems to work really well with acrylic. You just have to be careful not to hold the steamer over one spot for very long because acrylic is plastic, so you can melt it. So blocking will be very important to solidify the square's shape and to help it retain that shape. Okay. All right. So before we leave, That's all we have to say about the Melody Blanket Square. Before I leave you, I wanted to show you what my square looked like for the sample blanket. So this is what it looks like in the colors of the sample blanket. It changes it just a little bit. And because I've turned it sideways a little bit, it changes the look of the pattern in it. But they're both the same. And you can see very clearly that the granny stitch alternates rows with V stitch. So it opens it up and creates a little bit lacier effect in your square. All right. Those are the two squares, and that I hope you're having a fabulous time making your squares. If you need any help, just pop in the Facebook group and someone will be in there to help you out. All right, that's it for today. Happy crocheting, everybody.